We got more mind-blowing reveals from Shanks' brother. We find out more about his relationship with Shanks and his devil fruit powers. We get a sneak preview into the end of One Piece through the prophecy in the giant ancient texts. And more happens in this absolutely insane and oh so rewarding chapter. So make sure to stay tuned for this one. Chill the Pirate King within and smash that like button if you enjoy seeing these One Piece videos and want to keep them coming. Make this the video you join the Nakama if you haven't by subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you don't miss future One Piece videos and updates. And now without further ado, let's jump into it, spoilers and all. So this chapter is called Harley, which is referring to the sacred text of the giants brought up previously. Because of course we are going to get an in-depth look at it, and it's most definitely a big deal. In the cover story, we finally get the payoff which Oda has been leading up to for the past few chapters. Yamato and her group find Who's Who himself in the secret base. No surprise there. He is wearing a Wano Kuni outfit, but with his mask of course, and he is drinking with his subordinates and some geishas. Definitely looking forward to where we go from here in the next cover story. The chapter proper itself starts where the last one ended. Loki is now conscious and asks Shamrock if he's somehow related to the pirate red hair Shanks. He says, "Great pirates and celestial dragons are total opposite beings. How come you two have the same face?" Shamrock then finally spills the beans and the whole truth of their relationship comes out. Finally, he's not a clone or anything like that. Shamrock reveals that Shanks is his younger twin brother, and as a younger brother myself, I can definitely appreciate the fact that Oda made Shanks one too. So yeah, we were right from the get-go, and it's finally fully confirmed in the story. Shamrock even spills some juicy information that Shanks returned to Marijo at once, but he preferred to live in this filthy lower world, as he calls it. Let's just take a minute to appreciate the fact that the Shanks is a celestial dragon theories, and the Figureland Shanks theories, and the Shanks twin theories all prove to be true. Love to see it. Definitely a big moment in One Piece. Loki is funny when he remarks how amusing it is that he now has a grudge against both brothers. He then swears to get revenge for all of his animal friends. But in my mind, I'm just so curious what actually went down between him and Shanks and the details of it. I would assume that Shanks wasn't this horrible to him. It's Shanks after all. Shanks has always been an honorable guy, as Luffy points out later in this chapter, so I don't think he'd ever attack Loki when he's chained up and can't fight back, but clearly he still rubbed Loki the wrong way, and we just don't know the specifics of it, no matter how much I'm dying to find out. Shamrock says, "Are you threatening me?" to Loki after Loki vowed to get revenge. Gunko actually has to calm down Shamrock for once, saying, "Boss, don't waste your time on the likes of him." Shamrock says, "I know, there's no need for me to attack him directly. Cerberus." Then Shamrock pulls out his sword, and a three-headed huge dog called Cerberus, named after the Hound of Hades in mythology, grows out from it. Significantly though, it isn't labeled a devil fruit yet, like with the elders whose yokais were named, but they weren't called or labeled or titled devil fruits. So this again might be an extension of Imu's devil fruit power and not a devil fruit in and of itself, or Oda is just prolonging the official devil fruit introduction or bypassing it completely. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. Is it Imu bestowed powers, or is it an actual devil fruit in and of itself? Either way, Shamrock's sword in effect has a mythical zone devil fruit power based on the Cerberus myth, who, if you didn't know, guarded the gates of the underworld to prevent the dead from leaving. This just works on so many levels here because, for one, they're in the underworld of Elbaf right now, and Loki is tied up as a prisoner, and beyond that, Shamrock represents something like Cerberus for Imu, who has been associated with a devil/Hades-like figure, and Shamrock is trying to guard the existing world order for Imu, or at least it sure seems that way for now. We're told this Cerberus is similar to Moria Zombie, but looks way more threatening. It has black clouds floating around its neck, meaning it seems to be awakened devil fruit level, and swords come out from each of the three mouths. Now this is nothing new for One Piece. We've seen objects get infused with devil fruit powers, and zones will give the object a kind of personality too. Oda even said that if you were to give a devil fruit to Zoro before, he would give it to his sword, which led me to make videos in the past about Zoro potentially having a devil fruit power through Enma. But here, Oda draws on the idea once more, and this time gives it to a very strong and important character. Because, keep in mind, before something like this was associated with Spandam's sword, Funkfried, for example. The sword has the elephant fruit, and it was more funny than serious or cool in that example. But here, Oda is making it serious and cool and showing high-level characters can have these kinds of weapons infused with very cool devil fruit powers. So now I'm just saying, if Oda did reveal Zoro to actually have one at some point, now the whole thing has a cool rather than just a comedic precedent in the series. And this kind of makes me wish for a Zoro versus Shamrock Awakened Devil Fruit Sword battle while Luffy fights Emu or something, but we'll have to wait and see what happens. I think a lot of people are hoping for that Luffy versus Shamrock fight instead, because it lets Luffy sort of fight Shanks without actually fighting Shanks. Gunko then creates a huge bird with her arrows. Before leaving, Shamrock orders 3 Cerberus heads to fly away from its body, and then he makes the body turn back into a sword. He and Gunko then jump on the arrow bird and fly away. Shamrock tells Loki, if you survive this, feel free to come and get your revenge. I'll be your opponent then. Loki says, no way. You have got to be kidding me. It can't be. To be stabbed by that is bad. The 3 Cerberus heads with the swords in their mouths spin in the air and fly towards Loki at full speed. Then the 3 heads pierce Loki's torso together. Loki says, damn you, celestial dragons, damn you! Like it's a dramatic movie or something. While I'm just thinking, can someone please untie this guy already and let him properly defend himself? I just feel bad for this self-proclaimed destroyer of worlds right now. And I think most readers went from thinking, no Luffy, don't free him, to hurry up and free him already, Luffy. Shamrock and Gunko are speaking as they fly away from the underworld. Suppressing them immediately seems difficult. We will start by capturing the children first. Call one more person in, end quote. Wow, despite being his twin, this guy has not even a fraction of Shanks' honor. In contrast to the similar appearance, it seems like they are nothing alike in values. I guess Oda is really going hard on that whole nurture over nature argument here. Gunko just says, understood, which one do you want? And so Oda gives us something more to get hyped about, as another overpowered mystery figure is gonna enter the chat soon. Lucky for the Giants, Luffy and crew are here right now, and they will no doubt help them fight against these guys. And speaking of Luffy, we cut back to the castle. Luffy and his group are talking to the giant guards Luffy found in the last chapter. Luffy gets angry because the giants say they were attacked by red hair Shanks. Man, good thing Shanks has those scars, otherwise Shamrock could definitely do some significant damage to his reputation for real. Luffy of course rightfully can't believe that Shanks would do something like this and says how cool and honorable Shanks is. Nami for her part giggles when she sees Luffy get so upset. You have great trust in Shanks, right? She says. And honestly, I feel like this is directed towards us readers too, who trusted in Shanks and refused to believe in the evil Shanks theories. Luffy says, of course, Nami, you'd be angry too if someone said bad things about Morimare, right? So hilarious. And obviously Nami corrects him saying it's Bellamere, but I'm still impressed that Luffy found a way to make his experience relatable to Nami. The giants aren't adamant that it's Shanks and then admit that it could be someone who looks exactly like him, or it could be his brother. Luffy says Shanks' brother, I can only imagine him to be a good guy, if there is one, but I've never heard him talk about his family. Apparently he was on the Pirate King's ship since he was a kid. I think his family is probably Roger, Rayleigh, the whole Roger Pirates crew, except Buggy of course. What a hilarious way to end that train of thought. Poor Yonko Buggy getting burned so bad. As Luffy talks about the Roger Pirates, hint hint, the scene immediately changes to the mysterious man we saw a few chapters ago. We can only see him from behind, but he's the same person who was drinking with Crocus in chapter 631. The mysterious man is walking towards the castle and is very close to the door, so next chapter we will probably find out who it is. And many people have been thinking this could be former prominent Roger Pirates member Scopper Gabbin, which would explain why he would visit Crocus and why here the scene would jump to him while the Roger Pirates are being spoken about. Unlike with Rayleigh, his current status is unknown in the series, so it could be that Oda was saving him for this. But let me know your thoughts below. Will the dominant theory prevail, or could we get a crazy twist here? We are now getting to the mind-blowing reveals about the Void Century and the future end of One Piece. We cut to Frankie and he's examining the treasure tree Adam with Ripley. Frankie sees a huge mural painting on the tree. Ripley says, "I believe those are children's drawings from long ago that have fossilized and become a part of the bark." This mural has remarkable historical significance, so it's one of this nation's cultural heritages. It is estimated they were drawn around 800 to 900 years ago. If that is true, then they're from the same period as the Void Century. Frankie responds with a "what?" He says, "Then we gotta show Robin this. I'll tell her later. But this is strange for an Elbaf drawing since they don't look like giants to me," he says. While Frankie speaks, we see some drawings from the mural, a mermaid princess, a robot like Emeth, and a creature with strange ears. Sounds similar to modern day characters we have met right down to the mermaid princess, so we have this repeating historical cycles thing going on. Ripley says, "I agree, in our known history, while wars between different races are not unheard of, there shouldn't have been any unions, which makes it even more certain that this painting is nothing more than children's drawings." Of course, we know it makes perfect sense since it's depicting the Great War that was going on back then, but is yet to be completed to this day. We cut to the Walrus School and we see children playing and Saul's assistant teaching class. In the Owl Library, Saul brings out the Harley book with Elbaf's sacred text to show Robin. It's an extremely old book that has a sun symbol on the cover, like the symbol we saw in Kuma's church during his flashback. Saul explains that there are many interpretations of the sun god, but the sun god and his rhythm appear in many legends all over the world. Harley has 3 chapters and each one represents one world. The 3rd chapter is said to be the world we currently live in, and the end of the chapter foretells what is yet to happen. Crazy, and as I promised at the beginning of this chapter, we are getting crazy info about the end of the series. Robin says she will read the texts now. We get an epic double page and see the full mural to match what Robin is translating from the text. So we'll get to the mural, but first the words Robin reads. She reads the first part, aka the first world. "On Earth there is flame. Mankind overtaken by desire touched upon the forbidden sun. The enslaved prayed. The sun god appeared, the deity of earth enraged. Together with the serpent of hellflame, they engulfed the world with death and darkness. They can't be met again." So a lot of interesting and familiar stuff here right off the bat. Darkness sounds like the Void Century and the truth being hidden. We know the enslaved prayed to the sun god, as we saw from Who's Who 2. Again, Oda impressively tying the cover story to the chapter contents in a relevant way. The deity of earth working with the serpent of hellflame sounds like the celestial dragons and world government working with Emu's devil-like powers. But let's continue to the second world for now. "In emptiness, there is breath. The deity of forest dispatched demons. The sun did nothing but spread seeds of war. The people of the half moon saw a dream. The people of the moon saw a dream. Men became gods after slaying the sun. The deity of the sea rampaged. They can't be met again." The deity of sea rampaged especially reminds me of the whole story behind why devil fruit users are weakened by the sea and can't swim in it. Oda before referred to the sea as being angered by devil fruit users and rejecting them like a living thing, just like it's personified as a deity here. Finally, the third world, which should be most relevant to the events yet to come, says, "In chaos there is void. The troubled shadow remembers." This kind of reminds me of how Emu freaked out when they felt Joy Boy's hockey. "The promised day, and listens to the sound of the fragmented moon. The sun god dances and laughs, leading the world to its end. The sun will return, and so comes a new morning. They will meet again." So remember how the first chapter of One Piece was called Romance Dawn? We have more of that morning imagery here. This suggests also, as we knew, that the darkness will be conquered by Luffy, the new sun god who dances and laughs, and the world, aka the world as we know it, will end, making way for a new, presumably better one. So this quote-unquote destruction that people associate with the sun god of the old world, or the end of it, is followed by a hope as we expected, and not by some kind of gloomy post-apocalyptic world or nothingness. Meanwhile, Treasure Tree Adam is in the center of the mural. It's divided into 2 parts. Above the tree, there's a winged monster/demon that spits fire from its mouth. We also see a city attacked by a massive serpent, and on the other side, we see an ark with the king, angels, and animals. Sounds like Noah's Ark, which goes well with the whole rising seawater levels that we've been getting lately in One Piece. We also see a moon and some people making offerings that look like stars. It's similar to paintings that Anel found on the moon. We also see a big battle. We see a Nika figure fighting against a huge winged demon that has the sun in its hands. Nika is fighting along giants, so expect the giants to help Luffy too. One of them has horns, which will hopefully be Loki. Hashtag Loki for Straw Hat. We got Samurai 2, Lunarians even, Minks, a mermaid princess accompanied by sea creatures, angels, a robot like Emmet, and a lot of ships with humans, probably a lot of pirates too, and one seems to be from Alabasta. So we're getting a sense of the epic scale of this giant final war that Oda keeps talking about. So this probably reflects the old war to an extent as well, but I'm sure it will also be heavily paralleled in this one that's happening right now. History doesn't always repeat, but it rhymes to stick with the rhythmic imagery of the sun god. Now let me know you enjoyed this crazy chapter below and your big takeaways from it. If you like this video, you won't want to miss this one that YouTube says you'll like on screen right now. Like and subscribe for more One Piece, and I'll see you in the next one.